I'm Tania Barton. I'm a PhD student here at the Law School at University of Exeter, and my topic is dementia and contract law. Dementia is a progressive illness. Okay? It's actually overtaken cancer now as the most common cause of death in the UK. And in fact, a third of the population living in the UK today will develop dementia in their lifetime. So that means a huge majority of us will be affected either directly or closely because a family member, be it a spouse, a parent, a sibling, might develop it, or a friend, business associate, neighbour, etc. So you can see this is a huge issue. The issue there really arose for me first when my mother developed dementia. She was still living independently, but we would realise that her cognitive function, her brain function, was slowly deteriorating. But she still was able to live on her own and be part of society, join in activities, go shopping, etc. But then one day, she decided she needed a new mobile phone. So she went into town, she went to the high street, she got a mobile phone. At this stage, she wasn't really able to negotiate anything or really understand the different deals that were on offer. But she accepted an offer. The contract was signed. It was a 2-year contract. Brilliant. She had a mobile phone. The next day, my mother decided she needed a mobile phone. She went into town. She went to the high street. She got herself a mobile phone. She didn't look at the deal that was in front of her. You can see a pattern emerging. She did this 4 times in 1 week. And the family only noticed about the issue when the direct debit started coming out, and there was a huge hole in her budget. Now then, speaking to the high street shops, they would say, but a valid contract was formed. And if you look at the legislation, it is true that the Mental Capacity Act tells us that a person with dementia is still legally capable up until a very late stage, really. So for a long time, if you can understand the terms that are given to you for the contract, if you can remember them long enough to weigh them up and communicate your decision, you are legally capable and a valid contract is formed. But this does not take into account the complexity of a lot of the transactions on the high street, a lot of the consumer transactions that are out there. And it also doesn't take into account the variations in brain function over time with dementia. So there are 2 aspects of that. On the one side, I want to look at the law as it stands, both law within the UK and international treaties that the UK might adhere to. But I also want to look at the practical side. I want to understand how people are, in practice, living this experience. So I want to speak to people with dementia and their family members to understand from them their experiences, their concerns. I'm also interested in finding out the views of charities and lawyers, what practical suggestions they offer when people with dementia or their family members come to them with these kind of issues. Finally, I'm interested in finding out how businesses deal with this. Businesses very often have already thought about the issue. A lot of businesses will have stickers in their windows saying we are a dementia-friendly business or we are dementia-aware. What does that actually mean? Is training involved for their employees? How does that impact on people with dementia? How do they find out that the person in front of them might have this illness? With regards to impact, I would love to see the law change. With no doubt, it is important that people with dementia, just like everyone else, can enter into contracts freely. However, I think it would be great if there was some kind of mechanism in place which would protect people with dementia if at a later stage it turns out that the contract they'd entered into was unwanted, unnecessary, unaffordable, or unwise in some other manner. It would be important for them to have that mechanism to escape the contract without penalties, without difficulty.